God damn, I was on mute the whole time. Uh, we're live, people. My name is Alam. Welcome to another In Motion Football live stream. Today, we have quite a bit to talk about. We got football to talk about, bad football. We have hopefully good football to talk about in this game. And I'm still recovering. I'll let you know that much because one, a little bit under the weather, not feeling the greatest, which is cool, whatever, right? That happens. And then that game just put me through an emotional roller coaster I wasn't really looking to go through today. So, um, yeah, happy to now be watching a different team. Hopefully, I can enjoy a football game without stressing out too tough right now. But bro, what the hell did I just watch? Joel chiming in to say this team doesn't know how to end a game properly. Uh, for those who, for those of you that don't know, me or Joel are Eagles fans, and that game was like we just tried to hand the other team the game. Fortunately, we were playing a team that doesn't necessarily do the best in those circumstances. But the reality is like a competent team gets that done and we lose the football game. So that was not fun to watch. Not all is doom and gloom. I'm not that kind of person, and I also don't think the situation calls for that kind of reaction. However, it would also be irresponsible to act like everything's okay either. I do very much think there's a middle ground. I don't think that's sitting on the fence, but I think there are factors you look at and you say that this has to change. But then there's other things you look at and say, um, there's kind of encouraging signs. So I'll start out with what has to change. We have to be able to run the football better. That goes hand in hand with closing football games out. Um, but the reality is right now we've been ever since our right guard Cam Jurgens got injured, with one backup on the offensive line, we've all of a sudden not been able to block for our running backs and give them the creases they're used to, which like whatever, right? It's not like we're necessarily all of a sudden trash, but the point is our running game is not effective, and that does have to change. Another thing that has to change, guys got to stop putting the fucking ball on the ground. It's as simple as that. We fumbled the ball 3 times today. Fortunately, we fell on all of them. If we don't fall on all of them, we probably lose that game. We've turned the ball over a bunch this year. We're up there in the league in turnovers, and we lost the Super Bowl partially. Well, a big part of the reason we lost the Super Bowl was dropping a football on the ground. So that just has to stop. No ifs, ands, or buts, right? So that's another thing that has to change. The second thing that has to change, we have to figure out how to deal with not having a slot corner better than we are, because this is unacceptable. Like, I understand that our designated player in the slot is hurt, and we have, or we're technically playing fourth string slot corners because our starter in training camp, Avante Maddox, is out. Our backup from training camp is out. And then the third stringer, so the guy we signed to play, is also out. So yeah, we're playing with a fourth string guy. That being said, right? This is football. That's possible. That can and does happen. So, with that being said, is this the dire situation we will be in if this persists? Because Bradley Roby will be back. Hopefully, he comes back and plays well. But the other reality is that he's a 30-plus-year-old DB. Those players tend to get hurt. Those players tend to regress. He might not be good enough, but he might be good enough and might get hurt. The point is, if that's the circumstance we're facing, is just this what we're gonna do? I saw Kevin Byard, Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, Eli Ricks, Zach Cunningham, and Darius Slay at some point cover CeeDee Lamb in the slot. That's a nasty committee, and the reality is only Darius Slay is good enough to realistically match up against CeeDee Lamb in a respectable way. All the other 5 guys are scrubs. And it's 5 guys. How can it be so easy for Dallas to put their best weapon on an advantageous matchup for them so consistently with no change? And I understand that that's very much within the philosophy of the defense. The defense is very much about, if we execute as a team, it doesn't matter who's where. My thing is that has to change because either they have to be right or they have to abandon the philosophy. One of the two things has to change. So those are my big things. All those things have to change. The bright side, um, our defensive line didn't have the best game today. They went up against a pretty good offensive line, but when push comes to shove, they got the sacks to win the game. Brandon Graham got 2 sacks. Josh Sweat got 1 sack. Those were game-winning sacks. Push comes to shove, the defensive ends that our whole damn near team is built off of made plays at the end. That is good. The Jalen Hurts little injury knock, believe it or not, that ended up being a good thing, and I'll tell you why. One of the things we've been plagued by this year is the fact that this guy Jalen Hurts just holds on to the ball a lot, and I'm not painting that out to be a bad thing because it can obviously go both ways. It could give your receivers an opportunity to get down the field and make a play. It could come back to bite you. The decision in of itself is not like something that dictates good or bad. The outcome does, right? Unfortunately, the outcome of those moments last year tended to be big plays. Unfortunately, the outcome of holding onto the ball this year, it's a lot more of a mixed bag. Yes, Jalen Hurts has made his plays down the field, but also he has put himself in harm's way a lot by doing it. He's fumbled because of it. He's taken bad hits because of it. And he hurt his knee on a play where he just held the ball for way too fucking long. So that's always the issue I had with what happened or what's been happening on the field this year, right? So the second half comes, Jalen Hurts steps on the football field. And what I will say is that the whole second half, Jalen Hurts played with a sense of urgency, as in, look, I took another hit. I can't hold on to the ball anymore. I will get rid of this shit fairly quickly. He made that adjustment, and I thought he played some of his best football. So that's my takeaway from the injury is that it seemed like he's not impacted by it. He has a bye week to get over it. And realistically, it made us function better as an offense because of the adjustment we had to make. So I would hope that that is made clear to the people that watch that tape afterwards is that, look, we did a lot better as an offense when the plays were happening quickly. And what I mean by that is that ball snapped, decision is made, and play is executed early in the snap. Everything was good when that happened, I felt. Now, we went 3 and out twice to end the game. That was bad. Maybe that was Dallas adjusting to the fact that they knew that Jalen Hurts was not going to hold on to the ball for too long and was not a threat to run. But the reality is that I'm hoping somebody got the message that we need to play faster. So that's my takeaway from Dallas, Philadelphia. I think I just went on for about 7 minutes in a row, straight monologue. That was good to get off my chest. It feels good to just let that go. I'll move on to different things now. We got the Bengals and the Bills on TV. I will get the scoreboard up right now, and we will move on to bigger and better things because that shit was difficult to watch down the stretch. Share screen. Here we go, people. So anybody watching this on replay, you have a scoreboard to follow along to see roughly where along the game I am over the course of this watch along. But yeah, shout out to Joel as always. We need a whole new secondary in the spring. That's big facts. That is big facts. Like, there's nobody I feel great about next year. Literally nobody I feel great about next year. Shout out Leon. Another good loss from the Patriots in the tanking efforts. I've been looking at the schedule, Leon. I think a lot of bad teams are going to pick up W's in the next 3 weeks. So it is imperative that the Patriots lose these games to get good draft picks. But yeah, the Bengals scored a touchdown. During my impassioned rant, I think I lost track of what happened in this football game. But the Bengals are really picking up where they left off against this Bills football team. They have been doing very well against the Bills for this is the sixth straight quarter of football because they were doing well when the game started last year during Monday Night Football. They did well all throughout the playoff game. They're doing well right now. Mixon. Okay, yeah, I did see that. My peripheral vision. Goddamn, bro. Burrow is 6 for 6. God damn. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody that's watching this live. Shout out to everybody that might watch this on replay. Make sure you get your thoughts and questions or anything you might want to talk about in the chat. I love going back and forth with the chat. The whole purpose of this is that I want this to be interactive and I want to have conversations with the chat. If you're here and you enjoy this and you want to support what we do, man, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Two very important forms of engagement for the growth of a YouTube channel. If you're new here and you don't understand what we do, Sunday night football streams are about talking about the day's football, and reacting live to the Sunday night football game as it happens. Bills Bengals, this should be good. We just saw the Bengals score on their first drive. If you watched our watch along last week when we did Niners Bengals, you would have seen that the Bengals had a hell of a few drives offensively. It felt like there were long stretches of the game where they weren't punting, they weren't turning it over. They were very effective as an offense. They picked up where they left off here. The Bengals are really rounding into form. And it feels like the healthier Joe Burrow gets, the better he gets at driving the football down the field, the bigger the space gets that they're a threat to a defense, and just the better everything gets. So, for the sake of the Bengals, they're doing they're doing pretty good. I accidentally turned the volume up on my phone. As far as things go with the Bills, I think this is quietly a pretty big game for them because, one, I think they need to make a statement against Cincinnati. I think this can't be a thing that persists for so long where one team just has your number. You got to get your get back. And then also Miami lost today. So this is your opportunity to get back at the top of the division. So big things are happening in this game for Buffalo. They really got to, get this done. But we'll see how that goes for them. They're gonna have to respond here because if they're gonna get behind in this game and rely on their defense to keep a very dangerous Bengals offense in check, I really don't feel I don't feel super optimistic for their chances. Oh wow, Bills opening kickoff or their opening kickoff gets completely rocked at the 15. That is bad. Whoa. Okay. Talk us through it, Leon. What happened? What were the different legs of the parlay? I'm curious. Also, I just modded my guy Joel. Gotta appreciate gang in here. 1st and 10 for the Bills. Kincaid in motion to the right. Bunch formation on the right. Who the hell is the receiver on the bottom? I think that's Khalil Shakir. Diggs goes in motion. A whole lot of motion there, which I'm assuming helped them diagnose the defense, and it results in a pass to the flat to Kincaid for 5 yards. Solid little play on 1st down. I'm gonna be so real with you. Like, I'm actually still calming down from that game. And it's not even like I was angry and I was having to calm down from a place of anger. It was just straight anxiety and straight stress. Like, just that's what it was. And like, just not feeling great in the first place with me being a little bit sick. Like, dude, that was an experience and a half. God damn, don't play football games like that. Like last year, I felt pretty secure about the fact that the Eagles were going to competently deal with football games when push came to shove. But this year, it feels like, yeah, we're winning the games, but we're also doing stupid shit. And like, my bigger takeaway there is that you can live like this in the regular season. It's actually fine then, right? But when it comes to the playoffs, you're gonna have to either win 3 games in a row or 4 games in a row to win a Super Bowl. You will have a hard time winning 3 to 4 games in a row against some of the best teams in football playing like this. So again, to kind of take us all back to where I was at earlier in the stream, that has to change. Like this has to change. The trade deadline is over, so there will not be any major changes to the roster. There was I think week 11 last year, we made 2 free agency signings with Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph to help our cause. Wow, what a play by Diggs. Oh, shit, go. Man, Diggs is cold. Diggs is amazing. Big play there. Big play. I kind of wish Buffalo had a second player that was nice like Diggs because, or even similar, because I think we deserve to see what Diggs would look like in an offense where he's not the focal point of the defense. Like he cooks regardless. But imagine if defenses couldn't focus on him. I would just imagine that. It would be something else. I'm going to try to adjust the whole setup here to see what I can do. Oh, shit. What a play by Josh Allen. That was a dime. On the run, not setting his feet at all, dropping it over a defender, right into the arms of a moving target. That is a dime. If this is what we're in for in this football game, today's going to be a lot of fun. And this is going to be what I deserve after putting up with that football game that I just watched. Oh, man. Yeah, Gabriel Davis had that 15 minutes of fame. That's what it feels like. Like, it feels like the thing is like he's good for touchdowns. Like, Gabriel Davis will get in the end zone. But I don't think he's like a consistently reliable guy on just your average play. When it comes to big plays, you're in the red zone, you need a score. Yeah, you got him. But nah, he's not a wide receiver too, I don't think, for that reason. So Burrow started 6 for 6. Allen is starting 5 for 6 right now. The quarterbacks out here are diming, and it looks like a shootout might be on our hands, people. We're at the 6-minute mark, and it looks like the Bills are about to score. Josh Allen pump fakes on a rollout, gets a defender in the air, and casually strolls into the end zone before handing a ball to a fan in the crowd with his jersey on. Picture perfect opening drives for both offenses. Very little failure or unsuccessful plays. Now, there is a flag on the play, and they are talking it through. Josh Allen is in the middle of the referee scrum trying to figure out what happened. But it looks like the call's on Buffalo, so never mind. Just as I say, very little failure on the opening 2 drives. This is a pretty big blunder here if this wipes out a touchdown. But yeah, people. Oh, taunting. Oh, that's no big deal. Let me see if this changes things. Okay, cool. Less fuckery with the background. Oh, 100%, man. Shout out Daniel, our resident Colts fan. Frank Reich got rolled up and smoked today. That's what happened. That guy is a trash football coach. The free agency signings he made this past offseason are crimes against football. What he's doing to Bryce Young is a form of abuse. I don't know what kind. I can't put my finger on it. But that franchise is a mess. That franchise very well might have the first overall pick in the draft. Probably top 2 is a lock. And they don't even have their pick. Think about this, right? They traded what did they trade? They traded the 9th overall pick, DJ Moore, and probably Caleb Williams or Drake May for Bryce Young. That is a nasty trade right there. Because here's the thing, right? Imagine if they didn't have Bryce Young and they had a worse quarterback. They would be just as bad. You know what they would get from tanking? Or not even on purpose, just being shit? They'd get the quarterback they want. They grossly overrated their ability to make additions in the offseason. They signed a bunch of trash players. And then basically forced the issue with getting a quarterback when they could have just patiently waited and got a better quarterback. They made their team worse in the process because they obviously traded like pretty good players to get that number one overall pick. The Panthers are actually a mess. Um, I'm so annoyed. We have been better than our record shows 4-5. You're also handicapped by a backup quarterback, right? Like you're playing football with a quarterback that is not one of the better quarterbacks in the league, which is a fair thing to say. Like Gardner Minshew's cool. He's clearly able to win some football games, but he's not that guy. Imagine if they had one of those guys. It looked like Anthony Richardson was on track to be effective, more effective than Minshew. There's some interesting potential with that team. It really sucks for them that their quarterback has to miss this time. But I think you have to think about the perspective of the Colts, right? Peyton Manning was on that team and then was off that team because of an injury issue and mismanagement of an injury. Andrew Luck was on that team and then off that team through retirement because of his own personal decisions that were largely informed by injury issues and injury mismanagement. So now, when they get another quarterback and that guy gets hurt, you can bet that they're going to opt for, caution, and they're going to opt for, uh, making sure that he gets as healthy as possible. So I can understand how they arrived at the decision, but it just sucks because I would love to see what that team looks like. I'd love to see what that team looks like with Anthony Richardson. Because also, like, think about it. Everything they're doing on the ground right now could be like a good 150% better because Anthony Richardson is obviously going to step in and run a lot more than Gardner Minshew. And then the threat to run from Anthony Richardson is going to open up better creases for the running backs during just your average running play. So that team would be a lot better at running the football if they had Anthony Richardson. So, yeah, you got to feel for the Colts. I mean, unless you hate the Colts for some reason, but like, got to feel for them because they have a solid foundation to that organization. Now, for what it's worth, you do have to look at Anthony Richardson, look at his injury history in Florida, look at his injury history this year, and place an emphasis on him being healthy next year. The guy's got to play football next year. If he misses serious time next year as well, you might have to look at it and think like, what do we do here? Because we have a respectable team. They're building a respectable team. At some point, they're going to have to be able to lean on a quarterback to go win games. Yeah, that's what it is. That's the Minshew formula. Just hope that he doesn't hold you back too much. Oh, tight window for that throw to Jamar Chase on the out. If that ball's a little bit off, that's picked. Only Texans, Jags, and Titans hate us. That makes sense. That makes sense. Roughing the passer, boy. Let's see that. That's a huge call. That is a huge call. From a defensive tackle, too. Oh, is it the pull into the ground? I guess so. I guess so. It was a player parlay, $1 ticket. Needed Jones to hit over 222. He had 220-ish. Stevenson over 11 carries. He had 9. Zeke over 31. Oh, shit. Yeah, those are all marginally wrong. Oh, it looks like that'll be a first down for Cincinnati. My hits were good. Betting somebody's under 18.5 is hilarious because like that's just hate. But I mean, sometimes hate is accurate. Zeke over 7.5 receiving yards. Gibson over 15. McLaurin receiving. Oh shit! You put it like hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a 10-leg parlay. That would have made you bank. That would have got you a lot of bread. That sucks, man. Yep, football. Rivalry games get hella physical. Hella physical. 100%. 4:50 left in the first quarter. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor is easing back into form. Missed a lot of time. Obviously, good for the Colts that he's starting to look into or starting to grow into being the running back that we know he is because they paid him to be that guy. And it's been like roughly a year and a half of real time since he's been that guy. So definitely you want to see Jonathan Taylor live up to that contract if you're a Colts fan. Got the Pats next week in Germany. Oh my God, Minshew against Mac Jones in Germany. What did Germany do to us to deserve that? Honestly, I feel so bad for the Germans that like were gassed to watch football this year and just couldn't get their hands on Chiefs Dolphins tickets and just had to buy Patriots Colts tickets. That's absolutely really nasty. That game literally is going to be like Jonathan Taylor against Ramondre Stevenson. That is nasty work. That's a nasty matchup. Um, but yeah, shout out to everybody tapped in right now. Feel free to get your thoughts, questions, and comments in the chat. I'm here to talk about the game that's going on right now and all the football that happened today. So if you're interested in having any conversations or want me to speak on any games or whatnot, feel free to get that in the chat. Haram game next Sunday morning, but I'll be up for that game. God damn, Leon, that is commitment. Are you in the same time zone as us? Like, are you one time zone over that way? Like, it's 9:30 in the morning for me. Is it going to be 10:30 for you? Is it going to be 9:30? Because I will not be there no matter what. I will not be there. Your EST? Okay, 9:30 in the morning. God damn. Our defense was so good today. Missed that defense, but it's not that hard. Dude, it's easy to look like that against Frank Reich. Frank Reich is a great, like, confidence building game for defensive units. But that guy has put together an absolutely trash offense. Like, from when they signed Miles Sanders, Adam Thielen, and Hayden Hurst, it should have been a red flag right there. Now, in the grand scheme of things, Thielen's cool, but the other two, in addition to Thielen, is nasty. It's real nasty. I think we actually played decent even with Minshew, but can't see our full potential. That's the thing is like you're well coached, so you're gonna play like competent football regardless. But at the end of the day, you can just only go so far with Gardner Minshew. Especially like I think about a player like Josh Downs, right? Josh Downs is really going to be impacted by not having a quarterback with a big arm because he's somebody that can get open 35, 40 yards down the field. But like if you don't have a quarterback who has an arm that can get it there's just no point. So like you're not really seeing Josh Downs' full potential. You're not seeing the running game's full potential. You're just not seeing the offense's full potential as a whole. Incompletion by Burrow there. People, it's 2:11 left in the first, and we've seen 3 drives end up in the red zone already. Both teams went down the field to score. Now the Bengals are 2nd and 10 inside the red zone. These teams are moving down the field fast. If you bet the over, congrats. If you need fantasy points offensively from this game, congrats. If you bet the under, I'm sorry. I feel bad. I feel bad for you. This game, the pace this game is going at, points will be scored. Downs hurt his knee. My team has injury curses. Damn, that's rough. That's rough. T. Higgins diving for the end zone. I think he'll be down. I think he'll be down short. But yeah, about this Colts receiving core, right? I think Pittman is such a prototypical X receiver, and Downs is such a prototypical like Z receiver. You have 2 roles locked down already. You just need to find a demon in the slot. Like I think if you could like perfect world scenario, right? Cooper Kupp or CeeDee Lamb. Those are the guys you would add to the Colts receiving core, and then you have a serious 1-2-3. But yeah, if they can find that kind of player, bro, if they can find a player that just eats in the slot, that offense will be cooking 100%. It'll be interesting to see who the free agents are. I don't know if there's that kind of a receiver in free agency, but the draft might be where you find that player. Round 2, from where the Colts will be picking, round 2 might be the place where you try to take a shot for one of those kind of athletes. Second and goal for the Bengals, 1:10 to go in the first. But yeah, people, for halftime, I think I'm gonna try to pull off a playoff. I'll pull up a playoff machine predictor thing, and I'm not gonna go too far into the future because, like, let's be real, it's kind of pointless to go all the way to the end of the year because there's just too much football to go. But I want to go up until the 1 month mark when there's 1 month left in the season. So like get everybody up to 13 games and see what the state of the NFL I think might look like with everybody having 13 games under their belt. I think that would be a fire thing to look at, and that's what we'll be doing at halftime when there's no football to watch. Your thoughts on Pacha's comments? I'll be so real. I haven't seen them in video. I've only seen them in text. They sound kind of like they sound kind of strange. Like I'm not deeply impacted by what he said. I just think it's weird. But that being said, like yeah, I'd have to see the video. I'll be real. I actually don't have any thoughts at all. But it's third and goal now for Cincinnati because Chase couldn't get his feet in. 38 seconds to go. Big down for Cincinnati. They probably go for it if they don't get it, but we'll never know what decision they'd have to make because Joe Mixon punched it in. Joe Mixon has 2 touchdowns. If your parlay has Joe Mixon anytime touchdowns or Joe Mixon 2 touchdowns, you are eating right now, and life is good. This game has had 3 drives in the first quarter and 3 drives where both teams went up and down the field and got 7 points. So this is looking like it's going to be a special one. I don't know if you guys remember the matchup last year where the unfortunate events happened with DeMar Hamlin, but the buildup for that game and the excitement was next level. That's the most excited I had been for a football game, a regular season football game, in a long time. Obviously, that didn't include my team. But we didn't get that game, of course. But it really seems like this game is living up to what could have happened last year. But again, what I'll have to say, this is 6 quarters of football now that the Bengals offense has looked at the Bills defense and said, barbecue chicken. This is food out here. The Bengals offense seems to have no issues playing the Bills defense. And if this holds up, honestly, if I'm the Bills, I'm ducking Cincinnati in the playoffs. Obviously, the nature of football, you're not really ever in the position where you can. It's rare to be in a position where you can actually dictate who you play in the last week. But if the Bills ever ended up in that situation, I want no parts of Cincinnati as that organization. Hell to the no. But yeah, 1 quarter of football down, people. 14-7. What a game. What a game. Shout out to everybody tapped in, man. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's see if there's any games. Okay. I guess we can get into Miami, Kansas City, right? So I got up early to watch that whole game. When I woke up this morning, that's when I learned that I was sick. I was like, fuck, today was supposed to be such a good day. And that was a pretty shitty way to set the tone. But, however, that game was amusing for the fourth quarter. I actually thought the first 3 quarters were shit because one team was up 21-0, so I thought the game kind of might be over. But then also, like, a lot of sloppy football happened. Like, both quarterbacks finished under 200 yards passing. For Tua and Mahomes, that's really bad. That is really, really bad. And, yeah, that part was clear. That the 2 offenses really couldn't get it going. If you look at the Chiefs, right, basically both offenses scored 14 points. Again, 14 points and under 200 passing yards. That was shit. Fortunately for the Chiefs, they got a defensive touchdown. And, like, look at the Chiefs, man, doing it again. Big game. Marginal game where their offense doesn't actually get the job done. Their defense gets on the board. It's crazy how some things just break that way for teams. But it's definitely what happened with them. So the 2 offenses look like shit. The defenses look solid. I'm not going to go ahead and say, like, both defenses are, like, premier defenses yet. I think the Chiefs are very promising, and they've done some good things, and they have a chance to be that kind of defense. But I don't really look at the Dolphins' defense like that. Now, I think they played their first time with Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey, so I might be wrong. They might look like a different defense with those 2 corners in the field. But I was surprised to see how much of a defensive game that was. I thought that Miami made a ton of mistakes. They obviously the fumble that led to the touchdown was bad, but then also just all the penalties of like the stupid penalties, right? Like your illegal formations, your illegal shifts, your offsides, shit like that. Stupid penalties. Um, that was disappointing to see, and I feel like that's the theme with Miami. Like against Philadelphia, yes, I know the referees weren't good, but they also took a lot of stupid penalties, right? Offsides, delay of games, um, holding penalty. Oh, nah, that's more debatable. But offsides, a delay of games, illegal formation, illegal shift, right? All these unquestionable stupid penalties. Um, Obviously against Philadelphia, they turned it over in a big moment, and that probably was what lost them the game. In this game, 4th and 10, game on the line, they fumbled the snap. The hell is going on? Like every time the Miami Dolphins play a good team, every time Miami Dolphins play a good team, they go down 14. They lost by like 28 to Buffalo. They lost by 14 to Philly. And then they lost by 7 to Kansas City, but they were down 21 at some point. When they play good teams, they always get rocked at some point in the game. That's a really bad sign. That's a really, really, really bad sign. But that's my thoughts on Miami. With regards to Kansas City, they just like it's same old, same old. The offense doesn't really move me, but I just Mahomes and Andy Reid have the benefit of the doubt. I just think they'll figure it out. And the defense, like I said, I don't think they've necessarily um, rounded into form just yet. They have Steve Spagnuolo. They have a very established defensive coordinator. I think they'll probably get better as the season goes on. Um, they're missing some guys. I think Nick Bolton isn't playing. So yeah, like, I think the defense will round out. But yeah, they're just not there yet, and that's fine, right? Again, they have so much credit in the bank. It would be foolish to think that like they won't get it right. But the game itself was just sloppy, man. It got interesting at the end once I thought that, oh shit, Miami might actually make this comeback, right? And again, that's another thing. Like the Chiefs' turnovers brought the Dolphins back into the game. The Chiefs didn't score a single point in the second half after going up 21-0. Like that was a shit football game for one that I was so interested in. So that wasn't fun. That could have been better. What else happened? Packers Rams. So Matthew Stafford didn't play, and from that point onwards, I knew I did not have to pay attention to that game whatsoever because the Packers are shit, and the Rams without Stafford are shit, and that was just going to be a shitty football game. So I had no interest in it, and I actually don't know very much about what happened in that game. So my commentary on that is very little. Commanders Patriots. I think these are actually two interesting teams because like I kind of look at them the same. They're the competitive, not good teams, right? They're both definitely not good, but there's just something about them that tends to like make them compete in certain games. And look, this was a very tight game. This was a close game for most of it. Fine margins. The Patriots had the ball at the end with a chance to do something, and they just couldn't pull it out. But again, as a fan of an NFC East team, I'm thrilled beyond belief that the Commanders are winning games and strapping themselves into Sam Howell because despite the fact that he turns into God when he plays the Eagles, still not threatened by the fact that their quarterback long term might be Sam Howell. So that's my thoughts there. Buccaneers Texans. Quietly, this game was the game of the week. CJ Stroud is a serious quarterback. DeMeco Ryans is a coach that I think things are going to fall into place soon. Rough call there on that pass interference from for the Bengals. I have a rant about those kind of calls I'm going to get to later. I'm just trying to get through these games first. So DeMeco Ryans, good coach, right? The offensive coordinator, Slowick, he looks like a baller. The way he coped with the offensive line not being healthy, what he's managed to do with a rookie quarterback and young weapons and no running game, nothing short of amazing. That's an impressive guy. And the reality is when you have young, impressive offensive coordinators who come from successful coaching trees, and he comes from the Shanahan coaching tree, he's gone. He's a head coach next year. That guy's getting poached. but he's damn good at what he does. I'll talk about okay. Just put this out the way. Nico Collins and Tank Dell, good football players. They have two established receivers. They just need to find a third solid guy, and they're set, right? CJ Stroud, man. I think this guy deserves a lot of credit because he is keeping up with running quarterbacks without being one. For those of you guys who may not really be up to date or really caught up with like the nuance of the quarterback position, right? When you're a running quarterback, it impacts the game in a lot of ways. When you're a running quarterback, the pass rushers of the defense have to rush you with discipline and like gap integrity, which means they have to rush you, collapsing the pocket on you to stop you from running. They can't just mindlessly go at you, which you can against stationary quarterback. They have to rush within a certain space to make sure there's no big gaps for a running quarterback to run through. So, running quarterbacks, when they step on a field, they dictate to the defense and they force pass rushers to be less effective because they give them more work, right? Other things that defense running quarterbacks do when they step on a football field, the defense has to think about the potential for them to be a runner. And what that does is that basically takes one guy out of coverage. Again, makes the life of receivers easier and the life of a quarterback throwing to receivers easier. Um, when a running quarterback hands a ball off to a running back, again, one man on the defense has to stay back and just look at the quarterback to make sure he doesn't have the ball before then going to the running back. That effectively takes one defender out of the game defensively. Running quarterbacks impact the game a lot. And there's a reason that the NFL is trending towards guys that can both run and throw because schematically, a running quarterback opens up a lot of potential. So for a guy who does not present any of those advantages in this era of football where he's going toe to toe with mobile quarterbacks, for him to be producing the way he is nothing short of amazing. To be doing it with no offensive line, no running game, a rookie play caller, with two young receivers as his main guys, phenomenal. Like this guy's playing so good. And I think CJ Stroud's looking like offensive rookie of the year. That's a hell of a football player, folks. With regards to the Bucks, I think these are one of those games that make veteran players quit. I'm not gonna lie, because you were 3-4, and you're within a shout of the division. So your veteran players are gonna play because they want to play, winning important football. However, you're 3-5 now. If you look at the Falcons and the Saints schedules, one of them might get to like 7-5, 7-4. That happens. The Buccaneers will be out of it in no time. The way that defense, Todd Bowles is a defensive coach. Todd Bowles is supposed to be somebody who secures your defense and makes sure that, you're competent. You have veteran pieces, decent players from good Buccaneers teams of the past. When you have all that going on and a rookie quarterback throws for 470 on you, that makes veteran players quit. So if Tampa Bay begins to kind of tank in the next couple of weeks, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised because that Texans offense handed them an ass whooping. And again, veteran players on teams that aren't doing the best, they can get discouraged and they can look at it like, why am I going to, take a tread off my tires and work my body for a team? That's not all that. At the end of my career, when all of that is very important. Browns Cardinals. Okay. The Cardinals, they had a grit to them to start the year. I don't think that's there anymore. I think the tank is on. It's going to be successful. They traded away Dobbs. I genuinely don't know how much Kyler is going to play, despite the fact that they're slowly bringing him back. But if Clayton Tune is their quarterback going forward, that team is going to suck, people. That team is going to win one football game this year and likely get the number 1 overall pick in Caleb Williams. The Browns, not a whole lot to say. You did your job against a terrible football team. Saints Bears. Surprised the way the Bears were able to move the ball. They moved the ball better against this defense than the Chargers defense. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. As far as the Saints offense underperformed a little bit against the Bears defense that again looked really shaky last week. So yeah, just kind of a surprise that the game was close the way it was, but obviously the expected team won. Baltimore and Seattle. Uh, Seattle, I think, has looked shaky against some good teams this year. Obviously, looked bad against Cincinnati. In the grand scheme of things, their defense had their moments, but I still don't think that was a good performance. This is a dreadful performance. I guess you could say they played well against Detroit because they won. But yeah, Seattle, rough game for them. That's a thorough beatdown, and I don't really know what the vision is uh, for a team that seemingly has a lot of pieces, but is just not living up to what they are on paper. Um, and then what else is there? Oh yeah, in that game, Baltimore, man, Baltimore had another performance like they did against Detroit. Baltimore, I think Lamar's like 18-1 against NFC teams now. I think there is no possible way you can replicate what Lamar Jackson does on a football field. So there's no way to prepare for it unless you're playing against him in a game. So for NFC teams that don't get to see him a lot, they struggle against him. I think if I had to explain how his record is so good against the NFC, I would lean to that rationale. But yeah, Lamar's phenomenal. Lamar's really really good, and the Ravens are a solid team when they click on all cylinders. Vikings Falcons. Arthur Smith. Just get rid of that guy now. Just get rid of him right now. This is a terrible loss. Yes, the Minnesota Vikings are a motivated team right now, trying to, play for their fallen quarterback. They all repped his shirt before the game. That's cool. The Vikings are a decently, coached team, but man, their quarterback got knocked out of the game uh, through a concussion, and he was replaced by a guy that they just traded for about like 5 days ago, and you lost to that team. Shame on you. Shame on you. For the bits of that game that I saw, I thought the way they use their weapons is ridiculous. You have such a good young tight end prospect, but you throw to his backup, who is just like a player of the past. You have obviously not a good enough quarterback to make use of your weapons through his arm. However, there's still not enough attempts to get guys like Drake London involved. And then the end all be all. Why does Algier get more run than Bijan? I don't even know if he got more touches than Bijan today, but it just felt like whenever I watched that game, it was Algier and not Bijan. And again, I think that's criminal. Oh, I wasn't wrong. Algier had one more touch than Bijan. That cannot happen. That is unacceptable. That is not okay. So bad. Also, hold on. Why am I doing this? I can just do this. That's better. That's a better visual presentation. Oh, the Zoom background is going, or the StreamYard background is going crazy. Whatever. Yo, you guys aren't here to look at my face, anyways. Where else do we have to get to? Oh, Colts Panthers. Like I said, I already talked about it. Frank Reich needs to go. The Colts are a respectable team. They were always going to get the business done there. Get right game for the defense. Get right game for Taylor. Pray for Bryce Young. Those are my thoughts on that game. And then Raiders, Giants. The Giants, I'm scared of. And I'm scared that they're going to lose enough games to get one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. As an Eagles fan, I don't like the idea of that. Daniel Jones, it seems like he tore his ACL. So you're going to look at the Tyrod Taylor show going forward. But realistically, the DeVito show for the next couple of weeks. So let's look at, because I think Taylor's out 3 more weeks. Oh my God, they play the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Patriots. All those teams are getting W's. Then a bye week, then Green Bay. Maybe they beat Green Bay, but the Giants are getting clapped with DeVito playing. And last but not least, to look at the Raiders in this situation. Obviously, I think they played one of the worst teams in football, and they approached the game with a sense of like motivation and excitement to play football, and that kind of reflected in what went on. But Yeah, it's tough to really truly like say too much about when you play good against the Giants with DeVito. That being said, like they seem to play good, competent, respectable football. Nothing is special, nothing out of the ordinary. Um, but I'm happy for Antonio Pierce, to be honest. I don't know a whole lot about that guy or his coaching philosophy or the kind of coach he is, but the press conference that I heard about him, I thought was captivating, inspiring, and pretty impressive. So uh, yeah, I think it's cool for him that he has this opportunity. I hope he makes the most of it. I'd like to see, the Raiders pick up some wins here, but we'll see when they play a better team than the New York Football Giants. They're 4-5. Oh, they play the Jets. That's a winnable game. The Raiders might be 5-5. People, wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. So it looks like the defenses have made some stops here. Back to back drives to start the second without a touchdown. So that's pretty interesting. The game started pretty offensive. First three drives of the game, long drives for touchdowns. But these last two drives have been defensive. No points scored. So, yeah, that's the wrap up of this week. I'm going to take a look at next week's games in a second. But yeah, obviously we're gonna look at some games in the future at halftime. Um, and then yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I can necessarily hold up for this whole game, but I'm gonna try my best. Um, Shout out to everybody tapped in live right now. Appreciate everybody that's watching this. Make sure if you're in here, press that like button, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tapped in because lots of content coming. Lots of content coming on this channel. But yeah, next week, first two games, they are really, really shaky. You got Carolina Panthers against the Bears. You got the two teams that engaged in the trade for Bryce Young playing against each other. This is DJ Moore against his old team. This is two of the teams with the worst records in football. This is probably going to be a very ugly football game. So, the Thursday night football you're accustomed to at this point. First game on Sunday, Colts Patriots in Germany. Yuck, that is terrible. Then oh my goodness, Packers Steelers, bad football. Steelers will get that win. What does that put the Steelers at? 6-3. The Steelers are gonna be 6-3. One of the worst 6-3 teams I've seen. But look, wins are wins. Saints Vikings. That's another stinker. 2 5-4 teams, but that's a stinker. Do I think the Vikings can win 2 games in a row with Josh Dobbs? I genuinely don't. Now, do I have a whole lot of faith in the Saints at all? No. So this is a questionable game. Anything could happen, but I would lean Saints there. Texans Bengals. Quietly, that's a sick game. Quietly, that's a pretty sick game. Houston, I think, is a team that are going to be an entertaining opponent for anybody to play against because the defense, it's not ready yet. It's a little early for them. They're a little bit too young, but their defense is going to make some plays here and there. So the other offense is going to score. The defense will make some plays. That part of the game will be good. Josh Allen takes a deep shot to Hardy, and the pass is out of reach. And then the Bengals are a team that's heating up. So I take the Bengals to win that, but I think it'll probably be a high-scoring game that is fun to watch. Browns Ravens. Okay. Probably won't be an entertaining game, but it will be a suspenseful game that is probably a good game. I think the Browns will be very pissed off and looking to beat them, considering how the first matchup went between these two teams. However, this game is in Baltimore, and Baltimore is a very difficult team to play in Baltimore. So this is probably going to be a good old-fashioned, physical, dirty football game between these two teams. Oh, big pick by Josh Allen. That's a huge pick. The Bengals will recover the ball at the Bills 32. That is massive. That is a huge play. Boy. Joshua. We can't have plays like this. This has been the case for a long time. We cannot have plays like this. But I want to take the Browns in that game for chaos purposes. I feel like one of those weird Ravens games might happen, but honestly, I just have so little faith in Deshaun Watson. But we'll see. I'll go with the Browns, man. Whatever. Um, Titans, Buccaneers. Okay, 2, 3, and 5 teams. I think two teams that could both. Nah, I lied. The Titans have, I think, some newfound fire because of Will Levis. You know what? Give me Will Levis getting the W and back-to-back rookie quarterbacks getting that W on Tampa Bay, and making those vets in Tampa Bay really question if they want to play football down the stretch for a team that's losing to rookie quarterbacks. That's what I have happening in that game as of now. Niners, Jags. I really want to take the Jags here. It's in Jacksonville. I think the Niners losing 4 games in a row would be so funny. Like if the Niners get to 5-4, they're not catching Philadelphia. They're going to be 3 games behind. They are not catching Philadelphia. They might catch somebody else, but they are not catching Philadelphia if they lose this game. So I really want Jacksonville to win. But that being said, Niners lost 3 games in a row. I have a very hard time imagining they'll lose 4 in a row. Both of these teams are coming off a bye, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but that's a thing now this year. The Niners and Jaguars are playing each other, having both had a bye week. In 2 weeks, the Eagles and Chiefs will play each other, both teams having had a bye week the week before. They're doing these matchups where two teams are playing against each other off of bye weeks. And I think that's a cool concept to kind of introduce some fairness in the bye week matchups, because it is a big deal if a team is playing off a bye week against a team that played the week before. So with the Niners having a bye week to get right after losing 3 games in a row, and with Chase Young, I have a very hard time imagining Jacksonville gets this win and goes to 7-2. But anything's possible, so we'll just have to see. Go Jacksonville, though, despite the fact that I have the Niners winning. Lions, Chargers. Lions, Chargers. So I think the Lions are clearly the better football team here. The Chargers, I think, will get a win on Monday night tomorrow to get to 4-4. So this is 6-2 against 4-4. This might be a weird game where the Chargers win. But that being said, Detroit's a much better team. The reason I say that is just because, like, when I look at games, sometimes a part of what I'm considering is that, like, okay, what is the team's record? Are they really supposed to get to that next record with a win, right? So I'm looking at Detroit and I'm like, 6-2. Are they really supposed to get to 7-2? 6-3 sounds more Detroit to me. So again, it's in Los Angeles. Maybe the Chargers have a good week and beat the Lions. Again, the Lions are a better football team, but I feel something. Just have a suspicion about that game. That's really all. Falcons, Cardinals, yuck. Falcons get that win. Go to 5-5. Commanders, Seahawks. Oh, the Commanders get that ass beat against the angry Seattle team. So that would push Seattle to 6-3 and the Commanders to 4-6. Those records make sense. Dallas against the Giants. After the game that Dallas just had, they will smoke the Giants, who are playing a third-string quarterback. They beat the Giants 40-0 in week 1. I'm thinking maybe 50-0 in this one. That's going to be bad. Jets Raiders, which as of right now is the Thursday. Oh, that is going to be the Thursday game. They didn't flex it. Jets Raiders, that sucks, man. That's such a shitty matchup. So I have the Jets losing tomorrow on Monday Night Football. That would drop them to 4-4, and the Raiders would be 4-5. So 2 evenly matched teams in terms of record. But I think the fired coach magic runs out for Vegas, and the Jets, after losing what should be a winnable game against the Chargers, I think the Jets defense takes flight and gives Aiden O'Connell, a rookie quarterback, a tough time. And the Jets beat the Raiders next week. And Monday Night Football, oh, yuck. Broncos, Bills. Give me the Bills. That's cash money. Broncos, I think, are due for a letdown after beating the Chiefs, man. Bad teams like that, they don't know how to act after a win. So, yeah, so like as I was explaining to the people earlier in the stream, for everybody that may have just joined right now, at halftime, I will be pulling up a playoff predictor and just entering my predictions for what happens for week 14, like up until week 14. I want everybody to have 13 games under their belts. I think projecting the whole way through is just a little bit much. We'll be doing that during upcoming streams during the year. But getting a feel for where every team will be at with a month of football left, I think will be a pretty good barometer of what could be going on to anticipate some trends of what teams are really going to start to get hot, what teams are going to start to fall off, what teams are going to take football seriously, what teams are kind of going to try to maybe get or going to kind of get disinterested at some point. So we will be doing that at halftime. Anybody who's in here right now, shout out to you guys for watching live. Feel free to get your thoughts, comments, and just anything in the chat because I love for these streams to be back and forth conversations. Anything you guys put in the chat, I will address. So if you want me to talk about a particular game that you may have missed me talking about earlier, if you have any questions, feel free to get that in the chat. So if my predictions for next week hold true, that Browns Ravens one is really tough. The Ravens really should beat the Browns, but I just feel just something funny about that game. Just something feels off about that game. That's where I'm at with that. I'd love to hear what Peter's thoughts are. I'm sure Peter and Surfer are going to be calling for a Baltimore win there, but I don't know. I think the way they beat down on the Browns last time, when that happens in divisional matchups, sometimes some shit just happens. Colts Pats, who wins? Let me see. I think the Colts get that one. I think I needed to see some life from the Pats today. I thought quietly their offense had taken some strides in the last 2 weeks. I think last week was an opportunity against a Commanders defense that traded away their two best pass rushers to continue the pace that they were at. And I don't think they did. So I think that's a bad sign. I got the Colts getting that win. That puts the Colts at 5-5 and a team that is going to look to make a push come the end of the year. So if they go 5-5, they have a bye week, right? Then they play Tampa Bay and Tennessee. The funny shit there is that might be 2 wins. That might be 2 wins. Hold up. What happened when they played Tennessee last time? They beat Tennessee by 7. That would have been with Minshew. But that would have been against Tannehill. You know what? It's tough because Will Levis is a new thing. That Titans team is brand new with their new quarterback, their rookie quarterback. So the Titans game is a toss-up because divisional games are just always very competitive games. But I think they beat the Buccaneers for sure. I think the Buccaneers are not a serious outlet right now. Or I think they will only become less and less of a serious outlet going forward. Yeah, Titans, that's a tough one to call. At Cincinnati, that's a loss, in my opinion. Home against Pittsburgh, that is tough, but it's winnable. But I don't know. So okay, I'll put it this way, right? I have them beating the Bucks. I have them losing to the Bengals. Tennessee and Pittsburgh, I think those are kind of games in the same vein where I will say they split those games. So that puts them at 7-7. Then they play Atlanta, Vegas, Houston. Atlanta, Vegas, Houston. That might be 10-7, but it's probably going to be 9-8. Just because like winning games consistently with Minshew is going to be hard. So I got 9-8. I know Daniel, you probably have 11-6 because that was your prediction, and then also like it's not like the Colts play a ton of games where it's just like, oh, they have no chance. They have a chance, I think, in every game but Cincinnati here. I don't think they have a chance against Cincinnati the way Cincinnati's playing, but I think they have a chance in every single other game. Even with Gardner Minshew. Yeah, see, I figured you'd still think 11 wins. But yeah, so the Bengals offense sputtered. So this is now becoming the defensive football game that I did not expect because this is now 4 straight defensive possessions where the defenses have held up. Money Mac just hit a long-ass kick, a 55-yard kick, but there's a flag on the field. So we're going to have to see what's going on there. 14-7. False start on a 55-yard kick. False start on a 55-yard kick. That's how you take points off a board, man. That is ugly stuff. That is ugly stuff. We score 20 plus every game. Only team to do so. Oh, that's a cool stat. That's a cool stat. Man, Steichen, I'm telling you, good play call. They are punting now. That false start literally took points off the board. That is a 3-point penalty. So, in a dramatic turn of events, that Josh Allen interception will not cost the Bills any points because while he made that mistake, the Bengals took their opportunity to make their own mistake. And it's still a 7-point game. So the defenses have been holding it down. I think that is 4 possessions in a row after the initial 3 possessions where touchdowns were scored. So we'll see who can get points on the board first. I think it's imperative that Buffalo does it. The way the game is turning in terms of like pace and scoring, if the Bengals go up 14 points, I don't know, man. I don't know. But we'll see. So I'm just go get some water real quick. I'll be right back. You guys just hang in there with me and I'll be back in like a minute. Back, people. What did I miss? What did I miss? I'm seeing Josh Allen get sacked. So the defensive swing and momentum continues. Damn, the Bills are punting from their own end zone. 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes to go. What am I looking for? Actually, don't know. All right, so Josh Allen started 5 for 6 in this game. He's 5 for 10 right now, so 0 and 4 since the hot start. Joe Burrow started 6 for 6. He would now be 9 for 12 since. So that's keeping up where they left off. Actually, you look at the Bengals numbers, and it's harder to tell why their offense has sputtered. We look at the Bills numbers, you can see pretty clearly they can't run the ball, and now they're not efficient in the air anymore, and they have a turnover. So you can see pretty clearly what happened there. But with the Bengals, it's not so easy. Who gets the ball to start the second half? I think it's Buffalo. Okay, yeah, it would be Buffalo. So Cincinnati here. I think it's pretty important for Cincinnati that they, whatever you do, score a touchdown, field goal, fuck it, even punt the ball, whatever you do, you got to run some clock here. You can't give Buffalo the ball here, I don't think. Well, your defense is playing well, so whatever. But if you give Buffalo the ball here with like 2 minutes to go, 2.5 minutes, they're gonna get 2 possessions in a row. They're gonna get that possession to end this half. They're gonna get the first possession to start the second half. That's not a good circumstance to be in. That'd be a very good opportunity for Buffalo. This is 2nd and 10 with 3:20 to go, and if this is an incompletion, the clock stops. That looks like an incompletion. Yep, so 3:21 on the clock, 3rd and 10. They're going to throw the ball here. If it's another incompletion, you're punting with like 3:15 to go. Buffalo would have 2 timeouts. Buffalo, that in that situation, has 2 possessions in a row in a game where they're down 7 points. That's a big opportunity for them to sway the tides of this game. That being said, obviously the Bengals defense looks up to the test, and they very well may stifle Buffalo in trying to do that. But the opportunity is still there, and you would hope to avoid that if given the opportunity. So we'll see what Cincinnati can do. I'm going to try to see if I can pull up this playoff predictor for the NFL. What is this saying? Oh, yeah, this is the one we used last time, I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure. So we would fill these up, and then we would go all the way to week 14, and we would get a feel for where the NFL is with about a month to go. So that will be our halftime activity, people, and I think that'll be good fun. I was just looking at these standings right now. Man, the AFC is tight. The AFC is tight. There's only 3 teams in the AFC that have a worse than like 1 game under 500 record. The 4th worst team in the conference are the 3 and 4 Los Angeles Chargers. If they win tomorrow and get the W, then the team would be the Raiders at 4 and 5. 4 and 5, 1 game under 500, get to the 4th worst record in that conference. That conference is very tight. That's interesting. And then if you look at the NFC, 4 and 5 gets you 1 spot out of the playoffs, and you would have 7 teams worse than you. So there are 10 teams in the NFL that are worse than one game under 500, and 7 of them are in the NFC. That's a pretty telltale story of the state of the two conferences right there. Micah Hyde looks banged up. Taylor Rapp enters the game, former high draft pick. He's in his 8th season. Time fucking flies, man. 3rd and 10 from the 45. This looks like a trick play. Maybe not. Is Burrow gonna punt? That's a weird formation to play out of. And they will not get the first down. This will be 4th and 1. This will be 4th and 1. The clock is running at the very minimum. But the Bengals will have a decision to make. This is a deep ass field goal. If you were to miss this field goal, you'd set the other team up nicely. And they are going for it, people. They are going for it. Joe Burrow steps into the huddle, calls a play off of his play sheet or his strap on his arm. 4th and 1. Big down here. They're running this play out of shotgun, which I always find fascinating on these short yardage situations. Burrow finds a slant to chase, and it's there. Wasn't the biggest window to throw into, but yeah, basically the window to throw it into him when the ball to be like in front of him was small. He could have thrown it behind him and would have had a lot of space, but that would have made the catch much harder. That was a pretty good throw by Burrow there in a big moment. Big moment there. So they are at the 25 and the clock has run. So the point that I made about Cincinnati having to run clock, they've succeeded at this point. They've done the job. This game has gotten down to the 2-minute warning. They will get points and not give Buffalo too much of an opportunity to get points themselves. So Cincinnati, I think, has managed the end of this quarter pretty well. They've succeeded in doing what they have to do, and they will most likely have a 2-score lead going into the second half when Buffalo starts the half out. So strong position for Cincinnati to be in, and this is just more of the same of Cincinnati looking like they are a very, very difficult matchup for Buffalo and not a team that Buffalo wants to run into in the playoffs. And the reality is there's a decent chance that if they run into Buffalo again in the playoffs, it might be in Cincinnati. Because Buffalo losing this game puts them one more game below Miami. And at some point, you got to get above Miami, man. All this staying behind Miami all season, it can't continue for much longer. All right. I just opened up Reddit and there's a Tyler Steen appreciation post for the Eagles. For those of you who don't know, that's our rookie right guard who just made his Eagles debut today as a starter. And he's the one that recovered that last fumble. So we are out here celebrating our rookie right guard for fucking saving the game by falling on a football. But that's the state of the Eagles today, man. Chaotic game, chaotic team right now. But we take the 8-1 and we move. Every single team in football has work to do. It's good to have work to do at 8-1. It's much better to have work to do at 8-1 than 6-3. 100%. So the headline there on the Sunday Night Football halftime show is Eagles survived late game thriller. Show was not thrilling, man. Maybe it was thrilling for you guys. It was not thrilling for me. I was not thrilled watching that game. Oh, man. Still a little bit jarred. First down, strong run for Mixon. I like that clock management. You have enough You have more than enough time at this part of the field. Run the ball. They're probably not going to defend it too tough. And yeah, they're not going to defend it too tough. Let the clock run a little bit and get yourself in second and manageable. Jeez, Jalen Hurts is the fifth NFL quarterback since 1950 to win 25 plus games over the span of 27 starts in the regular season. The only other four players to do that are Brady, Peyton, Joe Montana, and Jim McMahon. That's quite elite company. Third and 7 here. Timeout. 146 to go. 14-7. Buffalo's taking one timeout. So on this third down, if you convert here, you can basically kill the clock. And that is like premier clock management of the second half. Premier clock management. Um, yeah, because you'd force Buffalo to call a timeout after running your play on third down. And yeah, you could leave no time on the clock left. So, well, Buffalo could have been in a situation where they had two drives in a row to finish the first half and start the second half. Cincinnati has played them into that not being a reality. So, Cincinnati has an opportunity to take a two-score lead into the second half. And again, the way Cincinnati is matched up against Buffalo, that is a very safe lead. That's definitely my thoughts and feelings on it. Third and 7, Burrow drops back. The pressure is getting there. He dumps it to 89. Tons of space. 89 is going to score. That is a touchdown, people. 21-7, pending extra point. Drew Sample, baby. We got Drew Sample. Tight end fullbacks out here scoring. What a time to be alive. 137 to go. Buffalo, you need some points here. You need some points here. You got one timeout and 130. You need some points here. Jeez. Okay, so a principle there. When defenses run man coverage and offenses understand that what to expect in terms of man coverage, you can do play designs that will take the defense to one area and open up miles of space. So if you saw on the back angle over Burrow's shoulders, the Bengals ran a play concept where every receiver was going to the left side of the field, and in man coverage, the defenders are man marking or man guarding man to man, playing man to man defense against those receivers. They're all going to follow those players to the left side of the field, which means there's nobody on the right side. So had Burrow had an opportunity to run, there would have been miles of space there. And you can see that play there is that there was that player Sample had a very specific duty to block up until he had a chance to leak out. Meaning, I'm blocking, there's nobody to block. Cool. I'll turn around and make myself available to catch the ball. He did, and he had miles of space to walk it to, and he scored a touchdown there. And he's not a guy that scores touchdowns like that. Kickoff, 137 to go. Um, First down for the Bills. I'm thinking you're gonna have to take some shots towards the sidelines, like towards beyond the numbers, because I think that just as I say that Buffalo gets a big chunk of 25 yards in the middle of the field, but from my understanding of the Lou Anarumo Bengals defense, they focus on the middle of the field. They let you have the sidelines. They trust their corners on the boundary. So if that's the case, Buffalo has a player in Diggs that could beat guys one on one on the perimeter. 105 to go. Buffalo still hasn't taken the timeout. They are well into Bengals territory, I believe. They are at the 42. They have moved the ball incredibly efficiently. They're actually moving pretty casually right here. 49 seconds to go. They try to get Kincaid on a route that I'm sure is supposed to go out of bounds, but Kincaid is met by a Bengals defender who I think was a zone defender towards the sideline. So under no circumstances that would have worked against man coverage to get Kincaid out of bounds. That was not going to work against zone coverage. So good play dialed up by the Bengals there. Good play dialed up by the Bengals. And on this play, second down, I think that was batted. I don't think that got to Kincaid cleanly. But nonetheless, whether he caught that or not, he was getting 1 to 2 yards there at best. Cam Taylor-Britt is down, cornerback for the Bengals. That, I think, forces the Bengals into taking a timeout and stopping the clock that way. So that's good for Buffalo. But, oh, yeah, never mind. That pass was going out of bounds anyway. No need for a timeout. 27 seconds to go. Yeah, I don't know if the Bills will be able to get a touchdown here. I think that's too much. But I think that a field goal is definitely on the cards. It appears that my camera has frozen. That happens. It will unfreeze at some point, and when it's done unfreezing, I will be back and not staring towards the top right aimlessly. Cam Taylor, what happened to him? I thought Kincaid got hurt there because Kincaid was limping. I can't even necessarily see what happened to Cam Taylor-Britt there. Well, third down didn't work, so 4th and 6. This drive bogged down pretty damn quickly. This is going to be a long field goal. If they try it, and Bass will try it. Like I said, people, my camera is frozen. Isn't that tripping? Hold up. You talking about third down? Oh no, I think you're talking about the thing against Kincaid. I don't know. I think that enough of his body was there to where, wow, penalties, man. They called that grounding. Yikes. Yikes. Again, that is points. They just let points go by just being sloppy. And they needed them in the worst way too. Man, some teams, man. You got to get these little situations right. They really add up. They really add up. So the Bills will punt and we will get to halftime and we will get into predicting some football when my screen is done freezing because yeah, can't do it while things are frozen because it doesn't let me edit anything. So the browser is going to just randomly reset and then I will be able to get back in control of what's going on the stream. And we will get to our playoff predictor. It's big for Cincinnati to have a 2-score lead. That's a really rough spot for Buffalo to be in with as wasteful as they've seen it. Buffalo had a really good first drive, but they've kind of sucked since. So that's really bad for them. Man, Cincinnati. So Cincinnati will be 5-3. I said before the year that basically Cincinnati for 2 years in a row now has been 5-4. So I penciled it in when we did the predicting the whole season with Peter on like the second stream. That, hey, just pencil in Cincinnati at 5-4. They're gonna be 5-3, so they might be better than 5-4. Let me look at who they play next week. Maybe they could get that L. Oh, they play Houston. Damn. Okay, Houston, can you do something for me? Man. Man, come on, StreamYard. StreamYard has me frozen. I wanted to get to sharing my screen and predicting some football games here, but StreamYard is not cooperating, so I'm gonna have to. God damn, I might have to log out to make this work. It's not supposed to take this long. It's been happening consistently for like the last week or so, but it usually like lasts for maybe 10-15 seconds and then resets itself, but it's being problematic right now. But it is what it is. We move, we persevere. The Bengals really are the most unpredictable team, man. You really have no idea what you're gonna get. But that being said, I think as of late, they've been fairly consistent with their level of play. Let me see. Have they got consistent wins? Yeah, they're on a 4-game winning streak. Yeah, I think they've been solid for about that 4-week span. But again, it could change. It's always possible that that could change. Like football truly is any given Sunday sport. Like that's a saying for a reason. Week to week basis, you really have no idea what's going to happen. That's why, as frustrated as I am about the Eagles, like on a week to week basis, it's hard to win football games, and we're still doing it. So, again, having work to do while you're winning games is much better than having work to do while you're losing games. But man, today's game was some bullshit. Wait, hold up. I think the browser is resetting itself. I think I'm about to be freed from StreamYard jail. Okay, I am freed from StreamYard jail. There we go. We back, people. We back. All right. We'll get to it now. We'll get to it. Okay, so in this game, Got the Bengals winning in this game. Got the Chargers winning on. How do I get to the next week? On to week 10. Week 10, like I said, I think fuckery happens. I think Cleveland wins. I think Cincinnati wins. I think Indy wins. I think the Jets win. I think Buffalo wins. I think I'll still give it to the Lions. Whatever. Pittsburgh wins. Rookie quarterback beats the Bucks for 2 weeks in a row. San Fran gets it done with Chase Young. Fields is playing. If Bajent was playing, I'd pick this team. Fields is playing, so I'm gonna go with that team. You got to beat Josh Dobbs, man. This team's gonna get their win. This team's gonna get their win. This team's gonna get their win. Cool. Week 11. No, I clicked the wrong one. Fuck. Okay, next. Let me know if you guys disagree with anything, by the way. I'm probably not going to change it, but I am curious as to what people agree and disagree with. Okay, this game. Can't have Baltimore dropping back-to-back games. They get that win. Pittsburgh got to lose, man. They can't be 7-3. But damn, then the Cleveland Browns are going to be 7-3. Shit, look at this division. That's crazy. That team gets that win. Buffalo gets the win. They don't get swept by the Jets. Cardinals, Texans get the win. Chargers. Honestly, Vikings. I'm going to leave this. I got to think. I don't know. Both teams off a bye week, man. It's interesting. Detroit, Dallas. Tommy DeVito does not get a W. San Fran. Stafford probably isn't healthy even if he's playing. Okay, so Eagles, Chiefs, right? I'm a homer, man. Fuck it. We're going Philly. We're going Philly. Tough game, but hey, both these teams have work to do. Next week. Miami, New York. This is off a bye, I think. No, Miami plays the week before. Nah. Miami beats this team. Cincy beats this team off a bye week, so I think this means bye week. Oh, coming off a mini bye. Still, though, Cincy gets that win. Jacksonville gets that win. Cleveland, Denver, Cleveland, 8-3. My goodness. Okay, that needs to get fixed. There's an L coming for Cleveland. That's a W. That's a W. Oh my God, that's a stinker. I still think they're playing DeVito, so Patriots get that W. And they're off a bye week. They get that Super Bowl Eli Manning revenge against the Giants. Buccaneers, Colts. Colts coming off a bye week? Fuck it. Let's give it to them. Titans over Panthers. Eagles are playing in their Kelly Green uniforms. They are not losing in their Kelly Green uniforms. Lions get the win. Dallas gets that win. San Francisco against... So I'm going to pick the home teams in this matchup. I don't care. I'm picking the home teams. Saints, Falcons. It's in Atlanta. They're both coming off bye weeks. I'm taking the home teams here as well in that matchup. Rams get that win. Bears, Vikings. I'm rolling with Minnesota, man. Week 13. Week 13. What do we got? By the way, is this screen visible? It's low-key kind of not. There you go, people. There you go. Chargers, Patriots, Chargers. Colts, Titans. It's a sticky one. What is the record? It's 5-6 against 6-5. I think the team with the worst record gets that done. They need the game a little bit more. Texans over Broncos. Bengals over Jacksonville. What are the records? 8-3 against 7-5. Lesser team that needs it more. They get it done. Miami against Washington. Miami. Pittsburgh. Atlanta against the Jets. Jets are 5-6. Atlanta is 6-5. Jets torment Heineke there. Browns, Chargers. Oh, Browns need that L. Chargers at home. They need a W. Chargers get that win. Chiefs, Packers. Oh yeah, easy. This one, it's if it was in Seattle, I would take Seattle. I'm taking Dallas in this one. And Tampa. I kind of want to give this one to the Saints because I feel like the Lions would lose a physical game on the road in a tough stadium, and they're not going to be 10-3. So I'm going to give this one to the Saints in a wild result, and I'm giving this one to the Eagles because I'm a homer. But also, like, man, don't rate Brock Purdy like that. Okay, last week of our predictions. Just letting you guys know, people, the Cowboys are winning this game, 100%, and then they will be a game behind Philadelphia with an even split on the head-to-head. But New England, Pittsburgh, that's a win for Pittsburgh. Jacksonville, Cleveland. This is, what the hell is this? This is 8-4 against 8-4. What a big matchup. That's a huge matchup. I'm taking Jacksonville. Nasty man can't get it done here. Houston against the Jets. That feels like a Houston win to me. Colts, Bengals, Colts, Bills, Chiefs, 9-3 against 7-5. You know what? Bills are coming off a bye week. Give me Buffalo. They need it more. 7-5. They need that win badly. Broncos, Chargers. Still going Chargers. Titans, Dolphins. Still going Dolphins. Ravens, Rams. Still going Ravens. Vikings, Raiders. What are the records here? This is 4-8 against 7-4. Bro, the Raiders need a win right there. The Vikings need a loss. Tampa Bay against Atlanta. I'll give this one to Atlanta because I feel like Tampa Bay is in a rough spot at this point. Detroit against Chicago. Detroit. Carolina against the Saints. Saints. Again, I said in this matchup, I'm going home teams. And then Giants. I think the Giants are healthy at this point. They're coming off a bye week. They get healthy as in they have Tyrod and they get a W there. So this is my prediction of the state of football with a month to go as of right now. So we have. Is there any way for me to look at the playoffs? What the hell is all this shit? What happens if I turn off divisions? Oh, this is just the conferences. Dope. So that leaves the division winners. Miami 1. Wow. Baltimore 2. Tied. Wow. Sheesh. Buffalo out of the playoffs. I have this being a harsh outcome for Buffalo with a month to go. They will be down bad and desperate for wins. Houston, 1 game out of the playoffs alongside the Chargers. That is mad. Okay, you go to the NFC. This means that Detroit and Philly are in a race for the 1 seed. 100%. 100%. What else? Dallas, obviously, also a game behind the 1 seed. But also, like, clearly in this situation, the NFC East will be the 1 and the 5 seed. And Minnesota, without Kirk Cousins, still in the playoff spot, tied with Atlanta. And you can see clearly here that, like, either the Rams or the Commanders have to go on a run or they're out. And I think that won't happen. So it looks like it will be down to Minnesota and Atlanta for the last playoff spot. So this is interesting. You know what? We're going to keep going. Only 4 weeks left. Raiders, Chargers. We go Chargers here. Raiders, at this point, the buzz of having a new coach is out, and they'll just realize they don't have a coach. Steelers against this team. Coming off a bye, we'll go Pittsburgh. Jets against Dolphins. We'll go Dolphins. Texans against Titans. You know what? Give the Titans the upset here to even the records out. Baltimore against Jacksonville. 9-4 against 10-4, or 10-3. Ooh, you know what? Fuck it, Jacksonville. Let's get wild. Easy win. Easy win. Easy win. Easy win. Oh yeah, Buffalo's down bad. They get this W. Panthers, Falcons, Green Bay, Tampa. That is 4-9 against 3-10. I think Green Bay gets that win. I think they get a little bit better down the stretch as their young players get a little bit more experience. And Tampa Bay at this point, I think, is sick of playing for Baker Mayfield. Those veteran players. Giants, Saints get that W. Niners, Commanders, Rams. Oh, that's the 5-8 teams. This is basically like you lose and you're out of the playoffs, like guaranteed. So this is like a mini playoff game, and I take the team with a little bit more talent. Rams get that W, and then the Eagles, coming off a loss, avenge the loss against Dallas and go up. So there are now 3 games left in the football season here, people. I have to give Miami a loss, man. They deserve a loss. Who do they play here? Oh, Dallas? Oh, perfect. Dallas just came off a loss, so Dallas gets that win. So we give this one to Dallas. Ravens, Niners, they both just came off losses. But I feel like the Niners are like a bad team for like I feel like they're gonna have a hard time with Baltimore. Baltimore, I think, is at a couple losses, so I'm giving Baltimore the W here. Jacksonville, Tampa. We'll give it to Jacksonville off the L. Seattle, Tennessee. Seattle off a loss. Colts, Falcons. Falcons in the hunt for a playoff spot. The Colts kind of aren't. So maybe the wheels fall off for Minshew a little bit here. Jets versus Commanders. Jets terrorize Howell. 9-5 against 10-4. Nah, Cincy gets this one. Buffalo against the Chargers. Buffalo. Browns, Texans. Browns. That defense holds it down against a young quarterback. Patriots, Broncos. Nasty, nasty, nasty football. 3-11, the 2 worst teams in the AFC going at it. Broncos have more of an incentive to keep winning football games, so they get the W. Raiders, Chiefs. Give that to the Chiefs. Saints against the Rams. I have the Saints at 10-5. No, okay, I'll give them 10-5, but they have a loss coming. Giants against Panthers. Sorry, Giants. Just I saw a G and said Giants. Packers against Panthers. Packers get that win. Packers are actually winning games down the stretch here to take themselves out of the top of the draft, and Jordan Love will keep his spot doing this. Detroit gets this win. Arizona against Chicago. Chicago gets this win. Philly gets this one. All right. So 2 weeks left in the season. At this point, the Eagles have, I believe, they haven't clinched the division yet, or the 1 seed, because Detroit is on that ass. But I think based on what I'm seeing, this 1 seed gets clinched right here, people. I also think that right here, I think the Bears and the Cardinals have clinched the 2 quarterbacks at the top of the draft. All right, let's do this. Last week, Browns. It's a matchup of shitty quarterbacks. Raiders, Colts. Colts, they need to win. Oh, yeah, Baltimore gets this win. That's where Miami takes a L. Buffalo. I gave this team the last win, so Houston gets the win. Bengals, Chiefs. Okay, those games are always 3-point games. Damn, I just realized Buffalo drove down the field. I was very caught up in my prediction. It's in Kansas City. I'll give it to the home team. I'll give it to the home team. This and this are massive games. People, week 17 will be a movie. Week 17 will be a movie. It's not disrespect, bro. We're getting you that quarterback. We're getting you an elite quarterback. 100%. I also gave them a win. I could have gave them no wins. It could have been possible. Broncos Chargers, bro. Late game Chargers fuckery again. Denver has no incentive to tank really. Guys are playing for like their lives. Denver gets that win. Late season fuckery in a divisional matchup. Home team gets a win. I literally picked a bunch of home teams in a row. That's very unlikely, but you know what? It is what it is. Seattle against Pittsburgh. Seattle gets the win at home. Carolina, Jacksonville. Oh yeah. Dallas, hungry. Detroit, hungry. Detroit's been winning a lot of games, man. They got to lose. Dallas gets the win. Obviously, we beat the Cardinals. Rams, Giants. Oh man, this is stinky. Rams, Niners. You know what? Saints need an L. They lose the divisional game. Tampa Bay gets their late season joy for a roster that is very disgruntled. Falcons, Bears. Falcons, Vikings. Okay, going into the last week of the year. The AFC is completely up for grabs, and the playoff spots are clinched. It's just about seeding because everybody is either 12-4 or 11-5. So there's nothing to compete for. And in the NFC, the playoff spots are clinched as well. It's just all about seeding. The Eagles have clinched the 1 seed. Dallas has clinched the 5 seed. Detroit has clinched the 2 seed. But look, there's a real dance that's going to go on between 3, 4, 6, and 5. All the teams could finish anywhere. And then here, obviously, the clusterfuck, God knows what will happen. So first things first, the Eagles will have nothing to play for. So they take the L. Detroit has nothing to play for. They take the L. Dallas has nothing to play for. So they take the L. So with that said, let's get to it. Hell no. Panthers, very dog shit. Damn, the Bills got a field goal. You guys need touchdowns, man. The hell is this? Bears, Packers. I think the Bears get their get back against the Packers for that week 1 game. I think the Bears are really sick of losing to the Packers. I told you guys prior to this, I'm going home teams in this rivalry. So the Saints get the win and they win the division. This team wins and this team wins. So the way the NFC settles out, you get Atlanta against Detroit in the wild card. You get Seattle against San Fran, which is a rerun. I mean, like a replay of the wild card last year. And then you get Saints against Cowboys, which Cowboys should be heavily favored for. Broncos against Raiders. Does this have any meaning at all? No. So I'm going to go for the home team because I've been giving the Broncos some wins. Chiefs in an all or nothing game against the Chargers team playing for nothing. We go with the Chiefs. Jacksonville against the actually, I have to be careful. Somebody's going to drop a game. I'm going to have to figure out who it is. I feel like they lost to Pittsburgh, so they win. They lost to Cleveland, so I think they win as well. Those 2 things are going to happen. I'm just calling a bunch of splits in these rivalries, man. I think that's the main thing. I don't like predicting sweeps. It doesn't feel right as a prediction. Buffalo, Miami. Buffalo beat that ass, so Miami gets the win. This means nothing. And again, the Patriots need that quarterback, so the Jets get this win. So if I have to pick an upset, it would probably be this one. And then this has no meaning. So we'll go with whoever has the worst record, which is the Colts. Okay. So the way it finished out, Kansas City 1 seed, Baltimore 2 seed playing Buffalo in the wild card round, Miami playing Cleveland, and Jacksonville playing Cincinnati. That's a tasty wild card weekend right there. That's a tasty wild card weekend. So if I had to predict, can I go to the playoffs? Dope. Okay. Easy, easy, easy. Uh the way Buffalo's been playing, man, easy. Uh that one's fascinating, because I feel like whenever Miami plays a physical football team, bad shit happens. But also, like, Cleveland just doesn't have enough offensively. I don't think. Yeah, I'm going Miami, and then Jacksonville, Cincinnati. Jacksonville, Cincinnati. Going Cincinnati. Okay, here it is, people. The divisional round. Cowboys against Philly. The Cowboys do not come into Philly when it's cold and win a football game. If the Cowboys couldn't beat the Eagles in Philly the way the game went today, it's not happening in the divisional round. That's a win. San Fran against Detroit. The love story. What the hell? The Cinderella story was real. Detroit. Niners getting that W. Over here, okay. You know what? You know what? You know what? Cincinnati has won 2 games in a row in this matchup. This is a series of swings. I think in the exact same spot that the Bengals season ended last year, they get the W. And then Ravens against Dolphins. I think that game gets ugly. The Ravens get the win. Again, I talked about maybe how Cleveland could muddy the game up, but they don't have enough offensively. Baltimore does. Okay, here we go. The championship games. The championship games. You got Philly against San Fran. Again, Purdy's not coming to Philadelphia in the cold and winning a football game. Since this is a rematch of last year when Baltimore almost went to Cincinnati and won with Tyler Huntley, they play at home this time with Lamar Jackson. They get the W. We're in the Super Bowl, people. You get Jalen versus Lamar. You get 2 running backs, and it's a tough game, physical game. But I'm not gonna sit here and predict to you guys that the Eagles will lose the Super Bowl. So I'm giving it to Philly. So that is another prediction for the year. We will probably be doing this more the easier it gets. So that is that, people. That is that. Where else are we at? So this game is at 9:03 in the third. This is an 11-point game. The game is not over by any means. However, I'm considering tapping out because I'm at a point of exhaustion, and I very well might do that because I don't know how much longer I can hold up. Bro just made a big play. It doesn't feel like Cincinnati is going to hold up. So I'm going to give it to the end of this drive. If Cincinnati scores, I'm out. If they get held, I'll stick around for one more drive. Good little scramble here by Burrow. Doing the first down while on the ground. The real commitment to celebrating. He had 14 rushing yards in this season going into this game and has 43 today. This is T. Higgins. T. Higgins had Micah Hyde lost. That was a cold move on the sideline there. Well, it's not looking good, Buffalo. It's not looking good. Oh, that's a crossover. Somebody that tall to be able to change directions that good is nuts, man. T. Higgins is a baller. I don't know how Cincinnati's going to pay him, Chase, and Burrow. Burrow, deep shot. He's got him. Jamar Chase. It's underthrown, but Jamar Chase makes an insane adjustment to the ball. Unfortunately, number 30 on Buffalo makes an insane play on the ball. That was very well played by both the corner and the DB. It was a bad ball from Burrow. That ball is a touchdown if it's a little bit further down the field. That's unfortunate, but gets like that. Gets like that. Jamar Chase almost making an acrobatic catch. Devontae made a sick catch like that against Washington in Washington last year. Burrow checked down to Mixon. Smacked behind the line of scrimmage. So it is now 3rd and long. So Buffalo's defense, while it was not looking good up until this down, they have a chance to get off the field. It is 3rd and 11. This is way too. I think this is too. I don't think Cincinnati's far down the field enough to go for it on 4th down if it's like 4th and 3 or 4. I think they maybe go for it if it's like 4th and 1, but that's it. So yeah, Buffalo, very good opportunity to get off the field here. They have Drew Sample blocking. We'll see if he blocks and releases. He does not release. He blocks, and the Bills' defensive line bats the ball. So without a score, I'm going to stick around in another drive. Buffalo, if you don't score, I'm out. I'm out. Maybe this way of dictating games is going to work, and everything's going to happen against whatever I'm saying to leave, and the game is going to be lit. We'll see. Big play there by, I think it was a linebacker and Micah Hyde. Yeah. Oh, no, it's Epineza and Micah Hyde. Edge rusher and a safety. Both rushing around the edge together and batting down a pass that would have probably went, I think, to a Bengals receiver that was like 3 yards past the sticks. Like past the line of scrimmage, sorry, not the sticks. So that realistically wasn't going anywhere. The Bengals, that's a great punt. They pinned the Bills inside their own 8. And yeah, going to have to be a long drive from Buffalo. Definitely going to have to be a long drive from Buffalo. Actually, we can look at this and say, yeah, in this situation, Leon, the Patriots get the 3rd overall pick, and they would take the best quarterback that's not Caleb or Drake May. And that's tough because I don't even know who that is. This is probably a bit early to draft a bunch of these guys, but like Shador, maybe if he doesn't stay in school. Bo Nix at 3 would be kind of wild. Quinn Ewers at 3, also kind of wild. That being said, they both might be good. So like, what is too early for a quarterback that ends up being good? So depending on how you feel about that, about how you feel about those players, we would see. But the 4th pick would belong to the Giants, who I think in this case kind of get screwed because if they get the 4th best quarterback in the draft, that's how they move on from Daniel Jones. It's a pretty shitty quarterback, I think, because that's you're probably looking at Bo Nix there or Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers would probably be okay, but Bo Nix, that would be rough for them. I don't know if New York is the spot for a player like Bo Nix to thrive. And then who would have the number 5th pick? The number 5th pick would be owned by either the Packers, the Bears, or the Broncos. So probably too early or probably too late for those teams to pick quarterbacks. I think the Packers would jump to move away from Jordan Love if they had a very good prospect possible, like potentially there. But I don't even know if that's going to be the case anymore with where they're picking. And I would say like with Denver, I think they'd also love to get a young quarterback. But if like the top 4 guys are gone, maybe they decide to pick an elite player at a different position because realistically, Russ is on the team regardless. So like if you don't feel like you can bench Russ and you're just committed to him, like fuck it, may as well take a great player and then get a quarterback later. Hope you're in a position to draft a quarterback in a future draft class. But bro, outside of the main kill, but not drafting a quarterback until late first or second. Jeez. Okay, in this draft, then the Patriots would be able to take a quarterback pretty high in the 2nd, and in the 1st, Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. I think would be a great fit. Although I don't know if the Patriots are about taking receivers that high. They probably wouldn't go offensive tackle because they have offensive tackles. If they went edge rusher, that would be kind of wild considering that like they're kind of not that bad on the edge. Um who would they take? Brock Bowers would be funny. Cut Hunter Henry or Gasecki. Draft Brock Bowers. That would be funny. Um who else? Yeah, who else would go there? Because I don't think any corners or safeties will go that high. I don't think they would go off. They wouldn't go interior offensive lineman. It's too high for that. I don't think they'd go tackle. Again, who knows, man? Maybe they'd go tight end or receiver. Uh, yeah, they don't have that. Like, oh, you guys do need a tackle? Okay, say less. That's probably the pick then. That's the pick. That's the pick then. They would probably go Alt or Fashanu. Or there's a third guy as well. But there's 3 offensive tackles that people like at the top of this draft. So hold up. What is the tackle situation? One guy is Trent, whatever the hell his name is. The guy that went to the Raiders, who was on the Patriots initially, went to the Raiders, then came back. And then who's the right tackle? Oh, it was supposed to be Riley Reef, and then he got hurt. Okay, yeah, then they definitely need a tackle. You're right. Okay, tackle would probably be the pick there. Draft season is going to be fun on this channel, I think. It'll be fun. Hopefully it's fun. I think just going live and reacting to people's mock drafts will be fun on its own. So I'm looking forward to that. I actually think that's probably my best opportunity for this channel to grow is free agency content and draft content. I think it's not the easiest thing in the world to get. Oh, Josh Allen. I don't think it's the easiest thing in the world for, is he hurt? To get into like people's consciousness about the season mid-season. Like people already got their people they want to go to listen about like what's going on. But I think I'm gonna get creative with the free agency stuff. He's a UFA. You guys are 100% going tackle then. But yeah, free agency content, draft content, we will be there no matter what. So people, I think the Bills are punting here. They are punting. So once I make sure this is not a fake, I will be out. Because they have only scored 3 points. They've only scored 3 points since the first drive. They've sucked offensively. And Cincinnati's up 11 with 20 minutes of football to go at almost midfield. So I think this game is over. And like I said, not feeling the best, pretty tired. But I did want to tough it out and see what this game would be like and hang out with you guys. Make sure you guys got something. Appreciate everybody that's tapped in live right now. I appreciate anybody that's going to watch this on replay. Shout out to everybody that's supporting the content. If you want to support it in an even more major way, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And yeah, make sure those things happen because they're 2 very important forms of engagement for the growth of a YouTube channel. And that's ultimately the goal here. So that's what I'm going to ask for on my way out. Stay tuned this week because I'm doing a stream where I'm going to react to my predictions for every division at the halfway point because we're done week 9. So I'm going to see halfway through how my predictions were. So that should be fun. And then, yeah, some other stuff will happen. So stay tuned in. I'm out. I'll catch you guys around. Wow, my peace sign wasn't even in the shot. Now it is. See you.